Hi, I'm Tovah and welcome to today's class. Super excited. Today I'm filming with a brand new camera, a big upgrade from my iPhone 6. This is a Canon ESO M50, so hopefully this is gonna increase the video quality and make my yoga classes even better. But before we get into today's class, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give my class a thumbs up, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. All right. To start today's class, we're going to come to the top center of our mats. Let your arms relax down by your sides. And take a moment to tune into your breath. Taking big, deep belly breaths. Working through all your breathing muscles, your diaphragm, your lungs. And as you breathe deeply, feel your whole torso expanding with breath. Moving the breath away from shallow upper chest down into lower belly. But that also means we're breathing into our back, between our shoulder blades, out the sides of our ribs. Maybe taking a moment to set an intention for today's class. And bringing our hands to our heart as we move through today's practice, finding some movement near the beginning of class, and we're going to be ending with a yin-based practice today. Moving through some slow sun salutations. Release your palms, inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, soften the knees, swan dive forward, bow your head. And just reaching as low down as feels comfortable for you. This might be more knees at the shins, it might be in the middle, it might be hands to the floor. But just take a moment here, let your head hang heavy. Let your neck and shoulders relax. Soften your knees to bring your lower tummy closer to your upper thighs. Perfect, and we're going to continue our sun salutation from there. Inhale, lifting, looking just forward. And exhale as you reach for the floor, hopping or stepping back as you lower down from knees or toes. Tuck the toes in, inhale for cobra. Finding a nice gentle back bend. And exhale as you release, push up and back from knees or from toes. Soften the knees as you push back towards your heels. Lower your head and just looking for your head to be in line here. So your ear should touch your arm bone if you tip your head to the side. So your neck is long and relaxed. Pedaling your feet a few times if that feels good. As you work to open up your body, tipping your sitting bones more towards the roof. Widen your shoulder blades and draw them down towards your buttocks. Eyes look towards your hands, hopping or stepping there. Exhale as you relax your back, lower your head. And inhale, take a nice big breath up. And moving back through, exhale, swan dive back down. Inhale, lifting, lengthening. And exhale as you reach for the floor. Keep exhaling as you lower. Inhale to peel from the floor, lifting one vertebrae at a time. Elbows drawn in by your sides. Release and press up and back to downward facing dog. Being sure to keep your back nice and straight, so use your knees if needed. Looking to your hands, inhale, hopping there, stepping there. And exhale as you fold, you melt a little deeper. Inhale, big breath, eyes up, chest up as you rise all the way to the top. Taking one more salutation here, swan diving down. Inhale, lengthen your back. And exhale as we move towards the floor, melting forward. Inhale, nice long back. Press your toes down, draw your shoulders back, lift your eyes for cobra or take upward facing dog. Release and press to down facing dog. Use your knees if you need to keep your back nice and straight and strong here. Looking to your hands, stepping there. And if you need a little help, boost your foot all the way up to the top to get it there. Exhale, fold, relax your head and neck. And inhale, big strong breath, come all the way high. Draw your hands back to heart center. Take a big long step back with your right leg, reaching your arms up towards the roof in high lunge. Gazing up towards the ceiling if your balance feels nice and steady today. And if it doesn't feel so steady, take your eyes forward and just down in front of you. Perfect. We're gonna rotate and turn towards the center. Bring your hands down to your heart. Maybe bring your feet just a little bit closer together as we move through a couple of dynamic malasana stretches. So we're gonna come down into a nice low squat here, and you just get as low as you can. And then we're gonna press through the heels, lift back up, come back down to the bottom, and press back up. And one more time, coming down nice and low, low as you can go. And if you need to, press off your thighs to get back to the top, bringing your hands back to your heart. Pivot to face the opposite side of your mat. We're gonna bring our left hand down to the ground, or you could use a block here. As you start to turn and lift your right arm up overhead towards the ceiling, coming into revolve side angle. Pressing your back heel towards the floor. Tuck your front knee in tight, and you could lower your back knee to the ground as an option here for a little balance check. Untwisting, lifting back up in high lunge. As you bring your hands back to your heart, turn back towards the center of your mat. Bring your feet a little bit closer together as we move through that dynamic squat position here. Sink nice and low, opening through the hips. You can add a little pressure to the knees, open the thighs a little more if you like. Standing back up, coming back down. Try to look up, straighten your back as much as possible. Press back up to the top. And one more time, sinking down, opening up, and standing back tall. And then we're gonna pivot back towards the front and move into that revolve side angle position. So this time it's bringing your right hand to the floor and bringing your left hand up towards the roof. Twisting here, draw in through the belly button to rotate a little bit deeper, a little bit further. Untwist, stepping back to the top of your mat. Exhale, relax your back, lower your head. Inhale, big strong breath, come all the way up. Bring your hands down to your heart. Taking one sun salutation here, inhale, arms sweep up and overhead. And exhale as you pour forward over your thighs. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale as you release, coming through a nice strong plank down to your mat. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Shine your heart ahead. And exhale, release, pressing up and back to downward facing dog. Try and draw your belly button in and up towards your heart as you lift your sitting bones. Look to your hands, stepping there. Exhale, release as you fold, melt. And then inhale, nice big breath. Come all the way up. Bring your hands back to your middle. Take a long step back with your right leg, coming into a high lunge position, lifting your arms again, maybe looking towards the roof. Folding forward as you reach towards the floor. Turn your back foot flat. Walk your hands towards your back foot, coming into just a sweeping side lunge here. Staying nice and low, or as low as you can, and that might be hands on the thighs. That's completely fine here. Perfect. Shift back towards your front leg, opening up. Turn your front toes back towards the front edge of your mat as we open up for side angle. So coming up onto your thigh here. Don't let your elbow collapse into your thigh as you stretch your top arm, making a big, long diagonal line from your fingertips on your right hand all the way down to your right foot. Perfect. Coming back down, walk your hands back towards the opposite side. Turning to face the back of your mat, lifting up in a nice high lunge here. Sinking. Lifting your arms nice and long as you start to fold forward. Again, coming back to your mat, anchor the foot, and then walk your hands towards the backside. Shifting back towards the opposite side here as we come up into that regular side angle position. Looking to turn your belly button up towards the roof here. So notice if you're collapsing forward that you really want to aim to rotate open. And if that means that you need to come a little bit higher on your thigh, please do. Maybe looking underneath your arm. Breathe and release, come back down as you walk back towards the start. Turning to face the front of your mat, stepping the back leg to meet the first. Relax your head and neck. Inhale, big breath, come all the way high. Bring your hands to heart center. Taking one sun salutation here. Inhale, reach up, and exhale as you fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Lowering from knees or from toes, elbows squeezed by the sides as you inhale one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, pressing up and back to downward facing dog. Eyes looking to hands, hop or step there. Exhale, fold just a little deeper. And inhale, big breath, come all the way high. Bring your hands back to your heart as we move through our last movement series of today's class before we slow things down even more. Stepping back again into a nice high lunge with your right leg, lifting your arms, long, strong arms here, and then folding forward, reaching for your mat. And you're gonna kick and sweep the front leg all the way back, up and over your back to come into three-legged dog. Stretching and opening up through the front of the hip here. And then point your toe back towards the ceiling as you step your foot all the way back up to your hands. Give it a little boost if it needs, and take your back knee down to the ground. And we're just gonna hang out here in a nice, easy, low lunge position. But if this stretch is challenging for you, you can always put your hand up on a yoga block or prop, or come all the way up onto your thigh. We do want to try to keep our spine neutral here, so if by having your hand down on the floor, that's not allowing your spine to be neutral and it's kind of rounding and sticking out the back, that's how you'll know that you'll want to come a little bit higher. And it's also helpful to keep the front thigh over to the side a little bit so that you can really sink down through the center and get a little bit deeper stretch. Perfect, and then we're gonna come into half monkey god pose, so bringing the thigh back in towards the center a little bit more. As you lie over the thigh, tuck your chin down as far towards your chest as you can manage, and then start to straighten the front leg until you feel enough of a stretch through your hamstring, or you might feel this more in your lower back or even up into the shoulders. And if you are peeling away from the thigh, or if you're lifting your head, that means that you're just getting in a little too deep. So back off the stretch, come a little farther forward so you can keep your chin tucked and your chest down here. As we open up the fascial line all the way from the heel of the front foot up along the back of the thigh, the glutes, right through the back into the back of the head and neck. Perfect, and then shifting forward, stepping all the way up to the top of your mat. Release your head and neck. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up high as you bring your hands back to your heart. Stepping back now with the left leg coming into that same nice big high lunge position. Breathe, and then folding forward as we plant our hands and we kick the front foot all the way up and back to come into three-legged dog. And you do want to aim to keep the toes, the ankles, and the knees of the supporting leg facing straight forward. Bring your toe back to the roof and then swoop your foot all the way back up to your hands as you lower the back knee to come into just a nice, gentle hip stretch here. And again, it might feel good for you to walk the front leg over just a little bit. This allows your hips to drop into the pocket and not get stuck on your own thigh. So if you're too close like this, you can't get down quite as far. This allows your hips a little bit more room to move through that ball and socket joint. Perfect, and sneak that leg back in a little bit closer as you bow your chin, lie over your thigh, straightening the front leg until you feel enough of a stretch. And if you're quite flexible here, you may want to slide the back leg a little further back, splitting the legs a little further to start. Perfect, and then shift back forward, stepping back up to the top of your mat. Relax your head and neck. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Bring your hands to heart center as we move through the last sun salutation of the day. Inhale, reaching all the way high, and exhale as you pour forward. Lengthen your back, inhale, lift, and exhale as you move towards the floor. Lowering from knees or toes. Inhale, back bending, lifting one vertebrae at a time. Release and press to downward facing dog. And from here, we're gonna move into the yin portion of today's class. As we move into 90-90 hip stretch, lift your right leg and bring your right leg forward. And then just sneak up the back leg and bring your right bum cheek down to the floor. And from here, you're gonna just set your legs up. It might be more of a true 90, where you have the front leg coming straight or parallel with the front edge of your mat, and the back leg going straight with the side edge of your mat. But of course, you can tuck the legs in tighter if that feels better for you. You can slide the back leg a little further back. You could tuck a prop or cushion underneath your right bum cheek here. And as we settle into the posture, staying upright if this feels like it's enough of a stretch for you. If you feel like you want or need to go a little bit deeper, you can start to fold forward. Knowing that if you fold more towards the knee, that's a little bit gentler or easier. As you come towards the center, a little bit more challenging, and then more over towards the foot, more challenging still. So you've got lots of options to find just the right amount of stretch for you. As we settle in here for a few breaths, allow your mind to quiet down, making sure that you're not overstretching, you're not too deep, causing tension as opposed to releasing tension. And 90-90 is really a wonderful hip stretch. And if this is one that you're loving and you just want to stay here right now, stay right here. If you want to progress a little bit deeper and come into pigeon, this is really just like an add-on. You're going to turn the front foot down and walk the back leg back straight behind you. And here we're aiming to bring our right bum cheek closer to the floor, but not by tipping to the sideways. Here we keep our hips straight forward, and it's just the amount of split that's in our legs that brings our bum lower. You might like to come down to the bottom and just rest and relax here. Make sure that your neck and your head is relaxed here, whether you're just letting your head hang forward whether you stack it on your hands and rest your head there or place it on top of a block or a cushion. Let's slowly make our way out of pigeon or 90-90 if you're there. And we can press up on the back toes, just lift and step our way back to downward facing dog. Just taking a few breaths here, just being really gentle with our bodies. As we take a couple of breaths now, maybe pedaling the feet and just finding a little bit of gentle, slow movement. As we come into 90-90 on the opposite side, so bringing your left leg forward, bringing your left cheek down, and then again just finding that right amount of stretch for you. And this might be different from the left side to the right side, so don't feel that it needs to be exactly the same. As you ease your body into the position. And it's always better to start a little bit more gentle, a little bit easier. And then you can start to sink a little bit deeper into the posture as time progresses, as your body starts to relax and melt and open a little bit more. And deciding whether you want to stay and hang out in 90-90 or whether you want to come into pigeon stretch, turning the front foot down, and then just walking and sliding the back leg back as we just meander our way right into pigeon. Staying at the top or letting yourself come down to somewhere on the bottom. Reminding yourself to breathe deeply here, using those deep diaphragmatic breaths like we started the practice with. Taking just a few more deep breaths here. Go ahead and let's make our way back out of pigeon. Again, just taking your time here, not making any fast or drastic movements with your body. And now easing, finding a little bit of movement if that feels good, or just enjoy a couple of more still breaths if that's more your speed today. And when you're ready, coming down onto your mat as we finish with our last yin-based posture of the practice, which is supported bridge pose. And if you don't prefer supported bridge and you'd like an alternative, you could always move into this pose, lying bound angle, where you put your feet together and let your knees open wide like a butterfly. If you are opting to move into supported bridge, start with your knees bent, lift your hips, and you're gonna slide either your yoga block or a bolster underneath your back. And you wanna make sure that this is not underneath the bendy part of your lower back. It should be right at your sacrum in the firm upper buttock area. So if it feels uncomfortable on your spine, it might be a little bit too much in the bendy portion. Shift it a little closer towards your feet. And then just let your legs relax here. So let your knees go in any direction. Stretch your legs out if that feels good. And just really give into the block. Not feeling like you're holding yourself up there. You're not using your legs to stay in the bridge position. We're just really passively opening up through the whole front of the hips. And if you do have a lot of tightness through your hips, if you spend a lot of time seated, or maybe even you don't notice it in your hips, but you've got some back pain, that can often be stemming from some tightness through the front of the hip or through the back of the hip as well. So coming into this position often can be a great place for you to come. And this is one of those postures you can hang out in for a really long period of time if it's feeling fantastic for you. And if you do want to stay here a little longer, please feel free to do so. If you're ready to be finished the practice today, I'll ask you to just press into your feet, lifting the hips, and just gently coming down to the bottom of your mat. You can tuck your knees into your chest here. Give them a little squeeze, maybe rocking a little bit side to side if that feels good. And then making your way back up to seated. I do hope that you enjoyed today's class. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, drop a comment in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more great yoga, whether you prefer vinyasa classes, yin classes, or like today's class that was a mix of both. There's plenty of options and playlists on my channel, so check those out. We will finish with our hands at our heart. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.